Day. It's Max Sheridan, and thank you for joining me for Boss Moves, talking about momentum. First thing I'm doing is mentally closing the door on the other parts of my day and stepping into teaching. I might even do that with a gesture. And I invite you to arrive here, whatever that looks like for you. And I'm not expecting you to stop whatever you're doing while you're listening. You might be eating or walking, and that's fine. We'll do a little movement together later if you want, and you'll have the replay if now's not a good time for you for that. I'm at the cabin today, and so I acknowledge the dark and young people as the custodians of the land where I'm today, and I want to express my gratitude for their ongoing custodianship of country and my acknowledgement that the sovereignty was never ceded, especially on the eve of Invasion Day. So thank you all for joining me today, and thank you to the wisdom of my body and gratitude for practices like this that allow me to access that wisdom. The aim today is to tackle lack of momentum in your business. We're using embodiment exercises, which means this combination of movements and statements. So the aim is not just to talk about it, but to actually shift it right here in this hour. My intention is that you leave here with new tools to use and understanding yourself better and changing your experience in the moment. So it's really easy to do a lot of work without really getting anywhere. That's what I'm talking about when I mean momentum in your business, like actual forward motion towards your goals. My passion is the wisdom of the body, because the intelligence and intuition and emotion, a lot of things that we think of as being in the brain, are really in the body, in both. And so mind body connection is where it's at. This class does include some movement, and I want to remind you that you know yourself best and you can choose what to do. And also note that you're not included in the recording today, even if your camera is on. Some of the movements that I might lead today include being a little bit off balance. So if any part of this doesn't feel good to your body ever, don't do it. I'll mention several options. And even when I don't, there's always a way to modify the movement, and you are in charge. I'm going to have a sip of water. All right, so momentum is about keeping going towards your goal. Momentum is described by the laws of physics, like an object at rest tends to stay at rest. And in business, usually we are more focused on being an object in motion, right? So that means we need a force acting upon us to create that motion. In this case, the force is coming from within us. And this exercise is about taking the desire that you have to do the thing and pushing yourself closer to actually doing the thing. So what kind of things are a challenge to keeping up momentum? No clear direction, doubting yourself, setbacks from outside, being too busy. So we'll try to use a strategy that will work no matter what the cause of your lack of momentum is. The main scenario I'm picturing is when you wake up and it's just a dull day. I still am interested in that goal that I have, but I'm not closely connected to it in that moment because I'm feeling blah. And in this case, I am helping myself get 1% more ready to do the work that I know that I ultimately want to do. I want to thank you so much for doing this workshop today because I know sometimes moving your body, and especially in a group, is not your usual thing to do. So I want to make it super clear that it's not just that the movements aren't meant to be strenuous, the movements are explicitly meant to be not strenuous. So I don't want you to put your body in a painful position. For instance, if I'm doing something like this and your shoulder doesn't like that, then don't do it. And I will probably offer options right away, but always stay within where your body feels comfortable. Now, on the other hand, if you're like, yeah, my arms are fine with that, but it makes my mind spin up or it makes my belly do a little flip flop, then that means that you're right in this perfect sweet spot of getting at something important in this exercise. We begin every embodiment exercise with becoming more aware of the physical body. And that means sensations like gravity, where you're touching the chair, where you're touching the floor. Um, Definitely feeling the temperature today. It's about 36 or 37 where I am now. Feeling your clothing and the air and what you can smell and hear. So I invite you to take a minute and shift your attention away from the outside world and towards the inside world, much as feels comfortable to you. You don't have to close your eyes. You can look all around to reorient yourself in the environment and bringing that attention in, not with any specific purpose in mind, just letting your attention move. I'm going to choose an object on the far side of the room that represents this thing I really want to do. So, for me, one of the projects that I am working on and not finishing is sending a newsletter to my list. So I'm going to choose the painting that I can see over there to represent sending this email, taking the action. So if you have a goal in mind for today or for this week or for this quarter, it can be a business related goal or not. And um, the more specific and desired it is, probably better, but just give something a go. I desire this thing and it's there. I am trying to get myself closer to that thing. That's the idea, right? So I'm going to stare intently at that thing and my eyes really focus down. At the same time, really stoke my inner desire. Yeah, I remember I've already done these steps that lead up to the thing. I remember I did a similar thing in the past. I remember I've got really good advice on how to do the thing. I remember it's okay if I don't get it right. I'm remembering how much I want that thing. Now, with my hands in my lap, How could I reach for that thing if my hands were glued to my lap? I can go, I can get a little bit closer. I can try diagonally. Point my elbow. It's so silly, isn't it? The idea is to really let yourself feel that constrained feeling. So you're creating the constraint by maybe grabbing onto the front of your pants or putting your hands in your pockets or just imagining that your hands be glued to your pants. The more I lean and strain that direction, the more I'm reinforcing in my brain, I really want that. I'm trying to get over there. Come on, I really want that. It's okay if you're not feeling anything at all, or if you're feeling something different. I would love to know what your experience is. Okay, very good. So you may have gotten a little bit of a sense in your body, like that frustration with yourself, like I want to be over there, but I can't seem to get myself. And I'm gonna say let's act that out a little bit more. I'm gonna stand up, and so I'm gonna switch cameras. So once again, we'll be acting out our interest and desire for this thing while being stuck. So standing facing it straight on, straight ahead. There's my thing. And then see how close you can get with your feet glued to the floor. Oh, I can get there. A little bit off balance, keeping yourself safe balance wise. You just need to lean far enough forward that you start to feel that desire building. Oh, that's the thing I want. I can almost take a step to get there. Oh, can't quite get closer. All right. What if you have one foot in front of the other? For me, I'm automatically much more in mind of motion now that my legs are not square, but are instead uh, pointing towards my desired object. So from this position, how far can I go with those feet glued? I can really reach a lot further, much closer. Oh yeah. Can't really get a lot of progress, but a little bit more. I'm feeling that desire rising. Let your body take a break. And maybe you want to shake it off and just be comfy, however you want to be for a minute. Just like, that was a little bit weird, but maybe I could feel something. Or here's what I felt that I didn't expect. And now, when you're ready, let's give it another go. Doesn't matter which foot you have in front, let your body be entirely comfortable. So from here, just taking one step forward and then letting my upper body lean towards the thing I want. I might even point to it. Yes, that thing. Yeah, that's what I want. What if I were walking towards it super slowly? What would that feel like? Moving, just a glacial pace. Oh, it's so frustrating to move so slowly. Why can't I just move more quickly? Okay, let me know what you feel in your body. There's no right way to do it. If you think, oh, I need to clench my fist to feel that, great, have that. Or if you think, I'm too tired to stand up, what would you do instead? It's actually great in a chair. And so this is a good way to transition to a movement you can do at your desk. So in my chair, I might be sitting back like this, typing, watching something, eating. A pretty uninspired position, and movement from here would take a lot of effort. Oh, if you want to get that feeling of momentum, let your weight be all the way forward on the chair. Has to be a solid chair, yeah? I'm gonna let, I don't think you can see my feet, but I'm letting one foot be more in front again. Just keeping that that same feeling of movement. And then letting my weight of my upper body come forward. Like I'm almost gonna take off from the chair, but I'm not. I'm just moving forward. You might feel your legs start to engage. Oh, do you need us? No. Okay, we're just sitting back. Now let's feel what it feels like to follow that wave and stand all the way up. You might need to push up with your arms as well. That's fine. It's not about the athleticism of it. It's not about your quads. It's about what you feel and think about yourself and about your business that keeps you stuck and how you can shift that. So here's a variation. I'm going to stand with my one foot in front again. I'm going to look right at this painting and I'm going to say, yeah, yes, that is next. Next. Moving almost far enough forward that my back foot comes off the ground, if that's comfortable. And hovering there just a moment, and then let yourself carry it forward. Yeah. I'm going to adjust the camera down just a little bit. Right. So I'm going to face this way. I'm going to move my object of desire to the far side of the room to make it easier to demonstrate what I'm talking about. So maybe you have a board on the wall that has your goals written on it, or you have a symbol that means do this thing, or you have a picture on your vision board of yourself doing it. Maybe it's a completely unrelated object. I'm just going to say that towel hanging there represents that email. I'm going to go towards it. Do I want it? Do I really want it? Yes. Ask yourself, what is standing in the way of you getting there? And as you walk, you can step over those things. All right, I'm going to come back to the other camera. All right, it's not strenuous, but I'm working up a sweat. So, I always am looking for ways to incorporate these, if it's a useful movement, to incorporate it in everyday life. And so this one is easy because you have a lot of times when you're walking and you can almost pause at the top and let one foot be holding the whole weight while you go. Which way am I going? Am I doing something that's kind of shiny object, wasting time syndrome, or am I doing those three things that I put down on my to-do list for today? When you get back into the rhythm of walking smoothly, and you can remind yourself, oh yeah, that I am the kind of person who keeps their commitment to send an email to their list every 2 weeks. Let's talk about the 4 Ps. These are my 4 practical ways to make your changes last. And they are people, practice, permission, and pragmatic. So I want to encourage you to practice going when you don't feel like it. Practice stating your priorities out loud and then moving towards it. Practice hovering for that moment so you can feel the pull of gravity and then use that to move yourself towards that goal. I also want to remind you that people can energize you or demotivate you. So be sure to tell that one friend, just say everything's fine. You don't need to invite the usual unsolicited advice. I think it's great help to surround yourself with people who are doing what you're doing or what you'd like to be doing. So get the mentor and the peer group, those things. Pragmatic solutions include knowing yourself better and doing things like batching, maybe experimenting with different methods. I encourage you to get yourself in the mood as much as you can, like a song that you play when you start to work or a scent. But also, it doesn't need to be true that your mood determines whether you work or not. Lastly, give yourself permission to get it wrong because fear is one of the main things that stops our momentum. So, this is my permission to go and get it wrong. The more times you can get it wrong, the closer to right you'll be. So let's stand up again and do a little bit more experimenting. Yes, I am looking through my notes. So you can stay seated for this first bit, actually. When you are sitting on the edge of your chair, leaning forward, feeling a little bit of that pull, but you're not going anywhere yet. I'd love for you to ask yourself, is this familiar? Is this me? Is this what I do? And it could be, I do this because I'm the kind of person who does a lot of preparation before I launch something. Or it could be, uh, I'm the kind of person who needs to have everything perfect before I start. So understanding where that impulse comes from helps you decide what you want to do instead. So in this case, I'm feeling that pull. Oh, yep. I want to say to myself, just do it. Get on with it. Do it anyway. And now also asking when I am hovering, almost moving, almost making progress. And then I finally start to make progress. Does that feel good? Does that feel familiar? Do you have any emotional reaction when you begin walking at a normal pace? I'm guessing the answer is yes. And I'm asking you to amplify the uncomfortableness of the hovering as a way to push yourself out of it. And literally push yourself out of it. Okay, let's do one more comparison. Starting out walking normally and feeling the momentum of that. If you have a longer hallway, it can be nice to have a long stretch of open path to do this. So just take a minute to get into default mode walking. Just your body knows how to walk and it's doing it. You don't have to direct it in any way. Now imagine that the air you're walking through is molasses. Ah, sticky and strong and pulling so hard. Maybe it's like when you're walking against the waves in the ocean. So that feeling we felt earlier. What if you were an astronaut on a moon with not very much gravity and you could just bounce along and zoom forward? Oh, yes, yes, I'm going towards that. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get it. Here I go. Yes. And you see how doing that with your body makes it easier for your brain to get into that mode. That's in the entirety of what embodiment is about. So learning more about yourself by using the signals that your body gives you in the form of sensations and emotions, and using your thoughts, and that way you can determine your behaviors. So if this exercise was useful for you or insightful, I'd love to work together. And I have 1 hour sessions that are $133, and there's a discount for a package. So in those sessions, we work much like we did today, but on a question that is specific to you. So often the first part is working out what is actually the question, what's the question underneath the question. And then in the coaching, I might suggest a movement or a gesture that goes along with what you're saying or that contrasts with what you're saying. And the sessions are usually about an hour, and one of the things that it includes is this idea of how you can continue to work on it yourself afterwards. So I'd love to have you enter the virtual lab with me and do this experiment. And now to have a little dance where we explore that idea of momentum. So with this music, you can start to let the waves build up behind you and then let it crash forward with music. Hopefully you'll hear what I mean. And this is Tabla Toy by Beats Antique. Okay. Oh, camera is not working, hang on. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is Tabla Toy by Beats Antique. And move in whatever way feels good to you. Thinking about the principles we explored in this 40 minutes so far. Just walking in time with the music. All right, that's enough for today's heat. Thank you so much for joining me here on Dark Canoeing Land for some boss moves and learning to embody your excellence as an entrepreneur. It's great to work with you. I'll see you next month. So one more thing that I wanted to address about the strategy of saying I'm the kind of person who is that I know that there is also reality and there is illness and family demands and other things that interfere with work. I think that deep down whether you are in the category of I'm respecting my limits right now or I'm limiting myself right now. There's always a balance there, and it's going to be different every single day. So this exercise is for when you desire the momentum, not for when you need a rest.